Alright guys, welcome back to Pub Reacts. Today we're going to be checking out a movie that came out quite a long time ago. It's called 12 Angry Men. It was suggested to me by my parents a long time ago. Never got around to watching it. So basically I know nothing about it other than it's about jury members. And I know it's a famous movie obviously. So I'm hoping for something pretty exciting and pretty compelling. But yeah, without further ado, we're gonna get straight into it, guys. So hope you enjoy it. I hope I do too. I haven't seen a black guy movie in so long. Last one I saw was Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and that was in like 6th grade.
Listen to a long and complex case, murder in the first degree.
Jeez.
It's now your duty to sit down and try and separate the facts from the fancy. However you decide, your verdict must be unanimous. Death sentence is mandatory in this case. You're faced with a grave responsibility. Thank you, gentlemen.
Can we take this seriously? It's someone's life, right? I mean, come on. Wait, is that kid on trial? He looks so young. And terrified, as I'm sure he is. Whether he did it or not. First-degree murder for a kid? Huh. I feel bad for them. It's gotta be so hot in there wearing suits, no fan.
How'd you like it?
It was pretty interesting.
I almost fell asleep.
If you ask me, I'd slap those tough kids down before they start any trouble.
You're not really helping them, though. You're just punishing.
I tell you, we were lucky to get a murder case. I figured us for an assault or burglary. Well, I think it'd
Who
be the
talks like
dullest.
that? No one seems to be taking this case seriously.
Okay, man, let's take our seats, huh? I don't know about the rest of you, but I happen to have tickets to that ball game tonight. Yeah, we got this kid Modulewski in there. Whew. You're a real baseball fan, aren't you, huh?
Yeah. Gentlemen at the window. We'd like to get started. You fellas can handle this thing any way that you want to. I'm not going to make any rules.
I think it's customary to take a preliminary vote.
Let's vote. Who knows? Maybe we can all get out of here. Huh?
Uh-huh. Of course, you know that we have a first-degree murder charge here, and if we vote the accused guilty, we've got to send him to the chair.
I think we know that.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like you know that.
Now, all those voting guilty, please raise your hands. Okay, that's 11 guilty. Well, now we know where we are.
There's always one.
So, what are we doing now?
I guess we talk.
You really think he's innocent?
I don't know.
He stabbed his own father 4
Oh,
inches into the
jeez.
chest.
11 men in here think he's guilty. No one had to think about it twice.
No, 11 men would just want to leave.
It's not easy to raise my hand and send a boy off to die without talking
Right.
about it first. We're talking about somebody's life
Right.
here. We can't decide it in 5 minutes, supposing we're wrong.
Suppose we do it in 5 minutes, so what?
Let's take an hour. Ball game doesn't start till 8 o'clock. This kid's been kicked around all of his life. Mother dead since he was 9.
Wow.
It's not a very happy beginning. He's been hit on the head by somebody once a day, every day. I just think we owe him a few words, that's all.
We don't owe him a thing. He got a fair trial, didn't he? He's lucky he got it.
Just lucky he got it?
You're not going to tell me that we're supposed to believe this kid knowing what he is? I mean, they're born liars.
Only an ignorant man can believe that.
Thank you. That old guy seems reasonable.
Seems to me that it's up to the group of us to convince this gentleman that he's wrong and we're right.
Suppose we go once around the table. I guess you're first.
I just think he's guilty. I mean, nobody proved otherwise.
Nobody has to prove otherwise. The burden of
Thank
proof's
you.
on the prosecution.
And I have no personal feelings about this. I just want to talk about facts. The old man lived downstairs under the room where the killing took place. And he heard the kid yell out, "I'm going to kill you." Second later, he heard a body hit the floor. Called the police. They came in, found the old man with a knife in his chest. Now, these are facts. You can't refute facts.
It doesn't paint a good picture, I suppose.
He claimed he was at the movies during the time of the killing, and yet he couldn't remember the names of the films he saw or who played in them.
What about the woman across the street?
That's right. She was the one who actually saw the killing.
Now, here's a woman who's lying in bed. She looks out the window, and right across the street, she sees the kid stick the knife into his father.
It could have been a different kid, right?
Through the windows of a passing L train.
And they proved in court that you can look through the windows of an L train and see what's happening on the other side.
You don't believe the boy's story. How come you believe the woman's? She's one of them, too, isn't she?
Damn. What do they mean by that? One of them.
Yeah, can I pass it?
Can you pass? Why'd you vote guilty then?
I was looking for a motive. Didn't they say something about a fight, an argument?
They couldn't hear what it was about. Then they heard the father hit the boy twice, and they saw the boy run angrily out of the house. What does that prove? This boy's been hit so many times in his life.
Terrible.
I can't see 2 slaps in the face provoking him into committing murder.
Everyone has a breaking point.
But you're just speculating at that point. You don't know.
When he was 10, he was in children's court. When he was 15, he stole a car. He's been arrested for mugging. He's picked up twice for knife fighting. Oh, this is a very fine boy.
When I was a kid, I used to call my father Sir. Did you ever hear a kid call his father that anymore? 22 years old. When he was 9 years old, he ran away from a fight. I was so embarrassed, I almost threw up. I said, I'm going to make a man out of you if I have to break you in 2 trying. When he was 16, we had a fight. Hit me in the jaw. He's a big kid.
You're not teaching the right things.
I haven't seen him for 2 years.
We're here to decide whether he's innocent or guilty. It's no secret children from slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society.
Yeah, potential.
The kids who crawl out of these places are real trash.
I've lived in a slum all my life. Maybe you can still smell it on me.
Come on now, there's nothing personal
Oh,
about
now, there
this.
was something
Oh,
personal.
come on, fella. He
That was pretty personal, yeah.
Let's stop the arguing. We're only wasting time. He's the one who's keeping us in here. Let's hear what he's got to say. We decided to, do this a certain way.
Stop being that kid, will you? That's all. What are you getting so hot about? Calm down, will you?
Don't tell me to calm down. Hey, you want to take the chair? Just take the chair.
I hate when people escalate something and then tell the other person to calm down. It's like, really?
I kept putting myself in the kid's place. I'd want my lawyer to tear the prosecution witnesses to shreds, or at least try to. There was one alleged eyewitness to this killing. Someone else claims he heard the killing, saw the boy run out afterward. Supposing they're wrong.
Witnesses can be very unreliable.
1, the boy admitted going out of the house at 8 o'clock. 2, he went directly to a neighborhood junk shop where he bought one of those
switch knife.
storekeeper who sold it to him, said it was the only one of its kind. 3, he met some friends of his in front of a tavern about 8:45. During this time, they saw the switch knife. They identified the death weapon in court as that very same knife. He claims that it fell through a hole in his pocket on the way to the movies. The boy never went to the movies that night. No one at the theater identified him. He couldn't even remember the names of the pictures he saw. Now, are you trying to tell me that this knife fell through a hole in the boy's pocket?
No, I'm just saying it's possible the boy lost his knife and that somebody else stabbed his father with a similar knife. It's just possible.
It's a very unusual knife. Aren't you asking us to accept a pretty incredible coincidence?
I'm just saying a coincidence is possible.
Oh,
It's the same knife.
What?
You're doing?
I went out walking for a couple of hours last night. I bought that in a little pawn shop just 2 blocks from the boy's house.
I mean, you're asking us to believe that somebody else did the stabbing with exactly the same kind of knife.
It's possible.
But not
Yeah.
very probable.
Yeah, but you need beyond a reasonable doubt. You can't put someone to death just because probably.
Somebody saw the kid stab his father. What more do we need?
I'm going to call for another vote. A secret written ballot. There are 11 votes for guilty. I won't stand alone. We'll take in a guilty verdict to the judge right now.
I think maybe the guy in glasses. I think juror number 2, I think he'll vote not guilty. Just need one. We just need one.
Guilty? Guilty?
God, I'm stressed. Let's go.
Not guilty.
Who was it? Come on, I want to know.
I know who it was. You
Oh,
sit
yeah,
here,
okay.
vote guilty like the rest of us. Why don't you drop a quarter in this collection box? What made you change your vote?
He didn't change his vote. I did.
The boy in trial is probably guilty, but I want to hear more. Right now, the vote is 10-2. I'm talking here.
Can't hear you. He never will.
I'm surprised they're allowed to just touch the evidence like that, but I guess the trial's already happened, but still.
In an agency, when we reach a point like this, I'm telling about in an ad agency when a point like this is reaching a meeting,
Not everything is about you, dude.
some account exec will get up and he'll say, run it up the flagpole and see if anyone salutes it. I mean, it's idiotic, but it's funny. Huh?
You were excited back there. I didn't mean to get nasty. Glad you're not one of those lets these emotional appeals influence.
That is not an apology. At all.
Hey, what are you getting out of this, Kicks? You know, you do-gooders are all alike. Why don't you donate $5 to the cause and maybe it'll make you feel better?
It's not about feeling better, it's about making sure before you kill a kid.
We're gonna all get sore throats if we keep it up.
What difference does it make if you get it here at the ball game?
No difference at all.
You think he's not guilty, huh?
It's possible.
Supposing you talk us all out of this and kid really did knife his father, huh?
I guess, but even if he did, I don't see how killing him's gonna really change anything.
The old man who lived downstairs says he heard the kid yell out, "I'm going to kill you." He saw the kid running down the stairs and out of the house. What does that mean to you?
She said she saw the killing through the windows of a moving elevator train.
What? They're playing tic-tac-toe?
The absolute nerve!
All right,
You
it's
want
not
to talk?
upset.
Has anybody any idea how long it takes an elevator train to pass a given point?
10, 12 seconds?
When the window is open and the train goes by, the noise is almost unbearable. You can hardly hear yourself think.
Well, how'd you hear him scream?
She looked out of the window and saw the killing through the last 2 cars of a passing elevator train. Therefore, the train had been roaring by the old man's window. It's not possible he could have heard it.
You're talking about a matter of seconds. Nobody can be that accurate.
Well, I think testimony that could put a boy into the electric chair should be that accurate.
Why should he lie? What's he got to gain?
Attention, maybe.
You keep coming in with these bright sayings. Why don't you send them into a paper? They pay $3 a piece.
Yeah, he was the
Say
guy
stuff
talking
like
about
that to him
respect.
again, I'm gonna lay you out. Why do you think the old man might lie?
He was a very old man in a torn jacket. He was dragging his left leg and trying to hide it. This is a quiet, insignificant old man who has been nothing all his life. But perhaps he made himself believe he heard those words and recognized the boy's face.
But what do you know about it?
Oh, does he feel that way too?
There's something else I'd like to talk about for a minute. This phrase, how many times have all of us used it? I could
Yeah.
kill you for that, darling.
Don't tell me you didn't mean it. Anybody says a thing like that the way he said it, they mean it.
I've said it before like that.
Do you really think the boy would shout out a thing like that so the whole neighborhood could hear it? Oh, he's much too bright for that.
He's a common ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English.
He
Damn.
doesn't even speak good English. I'd like to change my vote to not guilty.
That's
Vote
3.
is 9-3, favor of guilty.
What are you basing it on? Stories this guy made up? For crying out loud, the kid's own lawyer knew he didn't stand a chance. Look, lawyers aren't infallible, you know. Baltimore, please, huh?
It's the kind of case that brings him nothing. No money, no glory. He'd really have to believe in his client to put up any kind of a good case, and as you pointed out a minute ago, obviously he didn't.
I have made some notes here. The boy looks guilty on the surface. Maybe if we go deeper. Come on, will ya?
Let him talk.
He was captured by 2 detectives in the hallway of his house. If he really had killed his father, why would he come back? Wouldn't he be afraid of being caught?
The boy knew the knife could be identified.
Why did he leave it there in the first place?
The boy ran out in a state of panic after having just killed his father.
He would have had to be calm enough to see to it that there were no fingerprints left on the knife. The woman across the street testified. She screamed. The boy certainly must have heard the scream. I just don't think that he would have gone back.
Doesn't add up at all.
Didn't the old man see him running out of the house? He's twisting the facts, I'm telling you.
He saw
He
a
says
kid.
he did.
Says he did. Boy, how do you like that? Another vote called for.
Let's vote. I'm hoping we got 2 more at least. At least 2 more.
All those voting not guilty, please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, not guilty.
Not guilty.
What? Oh,
The kid you just decided isn't guilty was seen ramming this into his father.
That's not the knife, don't you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
Now, what about the old man? He didn't get up and run to his door and see the kid tearing down the steps 15 seconds after the killing?
Did the old man say he ran to the door?
He said he went from his bedroom to the front door.
I'd like to see a diagram of the apartment.
how come you're the only one in this room who wants to see exhibits all the time?
Because he actually cares.
But I'd like to find out if an old man who drags 1 foot when he walks can get from his bedroom to his front door in 15 seconds.
20 seconds.
He said 15 seconds.
He was an old man. Half the time he was confused. How could he be positive about anything?
Oh. Whoops.
He
Whoa.
would have had to walk 12 feet, open the bedroom door, walk 43 feet down, and open the front door, all in 15 seconds. I'm going to try it, see how long it took. Has anybody got a watch for the second hand?
I have.
You want me to start, stamp your foot? That'll be the body falling. You can tie me from there. Lock, door, stop.
41 seconds.
41?
You're not getting through to me. I've had enough. What's the matter with you guys? You're letting him slip through our fingers.
Why does he want him
Through
to
our
be guilty
fingers.
so
Are you his
bad?
executioner? Perhaps you'd like to pull the switch.
For this kid, you bet I would.
I feel
What
sorry
the
for you,
hell?
but it must feel like to want to pull the switch. You want to
He's
see this boy die
deranged.
because you personally want it, not because of the facts. You're a sadist. You don't really mean you'll kill me, do you?
Oh. Played him like a fiddle. How did he get appointed to be a jury member? He is so prejudiced. He doesn't even care about the facts. He just wants to kill him because he doesn't like the kid.
I beg pardon.
What are you so polite about?
For the same reason you're not, the way I was brought up. We have a responsibility. This I have always thought is a remarkable thing about democracy. We have nothing to gain or lose by our verdict. This is one of the reasons why we are strong. We should not make it a personal thing.
Well said.
Boy, oh boy, it's really hot, huh? Don't you
He's
ever
still wearing his
sweat?
coat.
No, I don't.
Maybe we should take another vote.
Well, that's okay with me. I can vote guilty.
Not guilty.
Nice.
Guilty.
Figures.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Jury number 8 is the best.
Not guilty.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Guilty.
So we're half and half.
The vote is now 6-6.
Nice hop in here, isn't it, huh?
You want a drink of water?
Hope it doesn't pass out.
How come you change your vote?
Just seemed to me there was room for doubt.
If you think too much, you get mixed up.
Now listen, I don't think you have any right to loudmouth.
Look at that come down, will you? This reminds me of a storm we had right in the middle of a game. We had this kid Slattery. I wish I had another one just like him.
Hey, huh?
It works.
Must put on the same switch with the lights. Better.
Even Steven. Pretty surprising, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, where does he come off calling me a sadist and everything? He was just trying to bait me.
He did an excellent job.
You sure did.
I'm ready to walk into court right now and declare a hung jury.
Yeah, I go for that too.
Just taking the easy way out.
And this kid wouldn't stand a chance with another jury, and you know it.
Then it's a good thing he has this jury.
Maybe you don't fully understand the term reasonable doubt.
What do you mean, I don't understand? I'm telling you, they're all alike. They come over here running for their life. They're telling us how to run the show, huh?
Is he talking about immigrants when he says them?
An important point for the prosecution was the fact that couldn't remember the names of the movies or the stars who appeared in them.
The boy couldn't remember the names of the movies he saw because he wasn't there that night.
But the boy was questioned. Well, the body of his father was lying on the floor in the bedroom. Do you think he could remember details under those circumstances?
Yeah.
Under great...
Stress is very powerful. His mind was probably racing.
Where were you last Monday night?
My wife and I went to the movies.
What did you see?
The Scarlet Circle.
What was the second feature?
Remarkable Mrs. Bainbridge.
I saw that. It's called The Amazing Mrs. Bainbridge.
Who was in The Amazing Mrs. Bainbridge?
I'd never heard of him before.
And you weren't under an emotional stress, were you?
No, I wasn't.
It's an interesting point.
There was this whole business about the stab wound and how it was made. The downward angle of it, you know. It's a very awkward thing to stab down into the chest of someone who's more than half a foot taller than you.
I'll give you a demonstration.
Uh-oh.
I'll make myself about 6 or 7 inches shorter, okay?
It's freaking me out,
Now,
but
this is the way I'd stab a man who was taller than I was. Down and in.
Switchblades came with the neighborhood where I lived.
How to use a switchblade?
yeah, you hold it the other way.
Underhanded.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm getting a little tired of this yakety-yakety. I changed my vote to not guilty.
You what?
I had enough.
I mean, he's just going with the crowd.
What kind of a man are you? Who tells you that you have the right to play like this with a man's life? If you want to vote not guilty, then do it because you are convinced the man is not guilty, not because you've had enough.
It's just as bad as voting guilty, just because you want to leave.
Want another vote?
Okay, all those voting not guilty.
8? Ah,
9.
9-3.
I don't understand you people. Look, you know
He
how
is
these people
blinded
lie.
by
It's
his
born in
prejudice for this poor kid. Just ignoring the facts.
They get drunk. Oh, they're real big drinkers, all of them. Human life don't mean as much to them as it does to us.
Punch him in the face.
Sure, there's some good things about them, too. I've known a couple who were okay.
You've known a couple?
There's not a one of them who's any good. What's happening in here? You...
Good for them.
Listen.
I have. Sit down and don't open your mouth again.
Glad someone said it. That was very powerful. Like, no one even said anything till the very end. And the entire tone shifted for the better. I'm glad that happened.
It's always difficult to keep personal prejudice out of a thing like this. We may be trying to let a guilty man go free, but we have a reasonable doubt. We 9 can't understand how you 3 are still so sure.
You've made some excellent points, but I still believe the boy is guilty of murder. The evidence given by the woman across the street who actually saw the murder committed. She saw the killing through the windows of a passing L train. This is unshakable testimony.
I can at least respect this guy because he at least uses the facts to form his opinion. He seems like he actually is hearing the points and then deciding what his opinion is.
Okay, I say we're a hung jury. I say we take it into the judge.
If you're trying to turn this into a contest, maybe we can talk about setting some kind of time limit. Someone before mentioned 7 o'clock.
Don't you feel well? You made a gesture that reminded me of something. Why were you rubbing your nose like that? Is it because of your eyeglasses?
It is.
Your eyeglasses made those two deep impressions on the sides of your nose. That must be annoying.
It is
Where's he
very
going with
annoying.
The woman who testified had those same marks on the sides of her nose.
I saw them too. She had these things in the side of her nose.
Well, what point are you making here?
Could those marks be made by anything other than eyeglasses?
No, they couldn't.
Do you wear glasses when you go to bed?
No one wears eyeglasses to bed.
Maybe she honestly thought she saw the boy kill his father. I say she only saw a blur.
How do you know what kind of glasses she was? Maybe she was farsighted.
The woman's eyesight is in question now. Don't you think the woman might have made a mistake?
No, it's not possible.
Cannot change this guy's mind.
You think he's guilty?
I think he's guilty.
I forgot that guy was there. He's been so quiet.
I'm convinced. Not guilty.
Well, what about all the other evidence?
You said we could throw out all the other evidence.
Now pressure's on him, though. He probably doesn't like that.
What do you want? I say he's guilty.
You want to hear your arguments?
I gave you my arguments.
You want to hear them again?
Every single thing that took place in that courtroom, but I mean everything, says he's guilty.
That's not an argument.
Everything that's gone on has been twisted and turned. I've got all the facts here.
He's just rambling.
Say something! You're not going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my opinion. Rotten kids, you work your life out.
Wow. Isn't that his son?
Not guilty. Not guilty.
That's all 12.
We're ready now.
Took a while, but there was enough doubt. I mean, there's so many points in the story. Get his coat for him. Just a good guy. Good for him.
What's your name?
Davis.
My name's McCardle. Well, so long.
Wow. Okay, just finished watching 12 Angry Men. Wow, there's a lot to get to, but first off, that movie was amazing. I mean, the fact that it all took place in just one room, pretty much the entire movie, like, that was crazy to me, first of all. I don't know that I've really ever seen that before. I've heard of movies being done in like one shot, but like movies done in one room, the only other one I can think of is Breakfast Club, that is done in pretty much one room. But this one was like a tiny room, a tiny juror's room. So that was pretty cool to see. It was also really interesting to like slowly hear about the case over time, because we didn't really know what was going on initially, because they didn't tell us anything. They just said it's first degree murder and this kid's on trial for something, for murder obviously. We didn't even know what he was on trial for until the jurors started talking about it. So it kind of felt like we were slowly getting pieces of the puzzle and putting it together and figuring out what really happened along with the other juror members. So that was pretty cool to see. It also made me think a lot about like prejudice and jury systems, and like, I don't know, it kind of made me think about my own prejudices and how I would have acted in the courtroom, or that jury room rather. Because like some of the guys, especially jury number 3, I think it was, the last guy to change to not guilty, he was dead set on the kid being guilty for pretty much no reason. It seemed like he was mad at his own kid, maybe, and that's why he wanted to vote him guilty for some reason, which, that's quite the relationship with your kid, first of all, but like, I don't know how he became a juror. Like, I would hope something like that would come up in screening beforehand, but I guess the screening wasn't very good. if that kid had gotten pretty much any other jury, he probably would have been found guilty, and he might not be. So like, innocent people going away for crimes they didn't commit just because a jury didn't want to go through, you know, the hassle of actually looking at the case and making sure someone's guilty before you send them off to the electric chair to die. I mean, like, it kind of made me mad hearing like some of the jurors early on like joke about it and just laugh about it and talk about other things and like, oh, can we get the fan on? Like, we should be focused on this kid's case, who he could die if we decide he's guilty. Like, you hold a kid's life in your hands, you shouldn't be joking about other things, you know? Also, it was really cool how they didn't actually tell us how, like, what really happened. Like, we don't know if the kid did it or not. We're still in the dark, but it doesn't matter because there's enough doubt to make us think that he might not have done it. So you can't vote guilty on that, or you shouldn't vote guilty on that. It was also kind of weird how some of the juror members were like twisting the law, because the law in the United States anyway is you're innocent until proven guilty. And the people who wanted to vote him guilty kept saying like, prove it, prove it. It's like, we don't, like, they don't have to prove that he's not guilty. You have to prove that he is guilty. So that was kind of weird to see how they were like twisting it to try and make it fit their own agendas. And at the very end there, I didn't even notice that I don't think any of them introduced themselves really until like the very end. They were just called, I know juror number 8, like we found his name out at the end, but in my mind, I was just thinking about him as juror number 8. But yeah, overall that movie was very good. I mean, it is definitely going to be something I recommend to other people. So yeah, I think that's going to do it, guys. So thanks for watching. If you liked it, leave a like, comment, it definitely helps. So any help would be appreciated from you guys. Also the Patreon, you guys can check out the link down below. If you want to see full length or voting on polls and all that things, or even some early access, you know, that's all down there for you. But yeah, that's going to do it. So we'll see you guys next time.